I'm going to talk a little bit about visibility, and this is something that is coming up for a lot of people when they are either involved in a creative venture and they need to share what they're doing online, or maybe it's a business or an entrepreneurial thing where you have to suddenly sort of show up and be seen doing what you're doing. And it might not be just online, it might be in person, it might be in performance contexts, but ultimately the concept or the experience of making oneself visible can be super uncomfortable. It can also come up with all things around personal branding as well. So in this, there is probably on some levels for some people quite a deep fear of being seen and being authentic. So I certainly, when I was bringing Heart School into the public forum in this way, felt very self-conscious and scared of that visibility, because I was showing up online as this thing that in a lot of areas of my life I had maybe hidden. So I was being called to share what I do and what I believe in a more holistic way. I was talking about maybe some of my spiritual beliefs, my emotional connection, my mental health, my depression, my coping mechanisms, and the way that I understand creativity. And that was really scary, and the stakes of that, I felt like, okay, there's going to be like a massive amount of like ridicule or scorn from certain areas, and obviously all of these things, all of these fears are coming from my past experiences of maybe being serious or being sensitive or being sincere, and being mocked for that. And for a lot of us, a lot of the fears around being visible do relate to something we experienced in the past, and we might have been laughed or mocked or ostracised or something for showing up in the way that was true to us. So then we learned to kind of like suppress that. Another aspect is that we kind of can fear repetition or spamming people, and certainly there was this whole phase in social media where people did feel like they were spamming people, but now it's like such a zoo, there's so much overwhelm, there's so much oversaturation that you can't really spam anymore. Like, I feel like a lot of social media, there's a lot of posts, there's a lot of adverts, but there are a lot of people who excuse me, I yawn physiologically, it's not a boredom thing, as some people rudely comment, oh, you bored? Anyway, I digress. But yeah, this thing of being afraid to post or to message people and be like promoting something, or to be visible, talking about your work. A lot of it is like fear of repeating yourself, and I certainly have experienced this when, to me, like, I kind of know what I do, but when I have to talk about it, I think like, well, it's obvious, like, I've already said it once, or I've already written it on my website, or I've already told somebody, once in my life that I make these things that mean this. But actually, like, the person you're speaking to, or the audience that you're in front of, or the person reading your post might not know anything about you. So you have to assume that people who are interested, or people that might be engaging, haven't seen the full story. They're not in your head. They don't know who you are. They're not getting a full picture. So often when we're scared of showing up or posting, or standing up in front of people at an open mic and saying, yeah, you can find my music at geraldinesnell.com/music, that kind of thing, it's like, we fear that, like, oh, I'm repeating myself, someone's heard it before, and I'm just taking up space or whatever. Actually, it's like, it's way better to repeat than to not say something enough. And who's going to be annoyed if there are people that like what you do or support you? They're not going to be annoyed if they see you just sort of sharing and reinforcing your message, or reinforcing a connection. People's attention nowadays is so splayed that even when people see things or see posts, and that's very rare because of the algorithm, there's like a certain percentage of your followers or people that you're engaged with on social media, particularly who actually even see anything you post, people are not going to be, if they're offended because you're posting too much, or you're repeating yourself, or you've posted about a gig and you're posting it about it again a week later to remind people. I don't know, it's like if people want to withdraw or not look at what you do for that reason, then they're probably not very supportive of you anyway. And generally people need to have things repeated, they need to see them multiple times. This is the whole ethos, or the whole, not ethos, I can't remember the word, but it's the whole principle of marketing. Like, you need repetition across multiple forms. You need to be able to pitch something and say it in 2 sentences or 3 words again and 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 again, until people hear it, until people see it. And I think a lot of people, a lot of creatives particularly, like, there's this first hurdle of like, okay, I'm sharing something and, you know, the 4 people that have seen it, one of them's reacted, so nobody in the world cares about what I do. But we need to get greater resilience and just become like these sort of, almost like machines almost. You know, you've got to treat yourself, or whatever you're promoting or whatever you're doing, the message that you're sharing in the world, you've got to treat it as if like you're a kind of promoter of this cause, and it needs to be visible, just like Coca-Cola's visible, just like Nike's visible. And it's not to say that you need to invest in advertising, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, why are those things familiar to us? Why do we go towards them? Why do we want them, or not want them, but why are we aware of them? Because they have intruded into our consciousness, our whole lives, through their presence in print media and digital media, online, on paper, in every establishment we've been in. We've seen those logos, we've seen those names, we know those brands. So a lot of this comes back to branding and marketing and becoming proficient in some of the principles of it, which I've had to like really educate myself in to even think about embarking upon having a business of this nature, or a kind of, I don't like to call it a business, but you know, a funness, a container, a thing, an offering that I'm sharing, and also to think about my creative expressions and offerings as something that has to be visible for people to know it exists, for people to be able to consume it. And we're all almost having to become marketing people to promote them, in order for them to be, to cut through all of the other stuff that is online. And whether you want to adopt like an attraction marketing method where you're just like doing your thing and being visible and shiny and waiting for people to come to you via social media, or via whatever promotional visibility enhancing things that you're doing and engaged in, or whether it's just something that you want to have on a much smaller audience scale, like creating a mailing list or something, there's still a level on which we have to become comfortable with talking about what we do, writing about what we do, and being seen to be who we are. And that goes very deep. There are practical things around this, and there are deeper psychological, personal, emotional, spiritual things around this as well. And Heart School's here to help with all of them. And if you would benefit from one-to-one coaching, check out the details below. Comment your experiences or resistances to being visible, and also check out the website in case there are any events or courses around this when this reaches you, whoever and wherever you are. And a last message, just remember, like, you've got to let people see you shine. That's what it's about, doing what you love, doing what lights you up, shining that radiance out and letting people see it, and then everything's great. And everyone, I believe, should be able to do that in the world. That is my dream. That is my world peace if I was the Miss World contestant. Thank you for watching, and I will share this great meditation, Let Them See You Shine, great meditation / video, Let Them See You Shine, that will support that process, and yeah, be visible as your wonderful, bright, loving self. Thank you.